Hey guys, Ray from Levy RV and Boat. Just giving you a little update on my progress here. I'm totally changing out this year's off-grid system in my Keystone Cougar fifth wheel. In a recent video I showed you where I was installing two Xantrex 240 amp hour lithium batteries. I've also got a Xantrex 3000 watt inverter that I'm installing. So there's going to be review videos on each of those to come. Just wanted to give you a look how I've changed a lot of stuff in here, really cleaned it up. This is a Bouge RV 60 amp solar controller that I reviewed not too long ago. So it was able to replace two 40 amp solar controllers with just the one solar controller. So that really cleaned things up. Now that handles the solar panels that are on my roof. There's a little over 900 watts of solar panels up there, and they're wired in a parallel arrangement. So they're coming down over here. You can see I have them split into two different arrays, a 400 watt and a 540 watt, and then they combine with these bus bars and they go into the solar controller here. You come out of the solar controller and there's a 70 amp fuse breaker. And then one upgrade I did is I bought myself some decent bus bars for this project. They're able to handle 300 amps. Nice big lugs on them, nuts. So for the battery hookup, I decided to split it into two even runs to the bus bar. So I made my own cables here. These are 2-aught cables. So they're about almost as thick as your thumb. Now they're pretty short runs, so I don't think I'll have any problems running this 3000 watt inverter. I don't really need to run it really high constant power. So if I did, I'd probably go up to what they call a 4-aught cable. But I think I'm going to be okay here. If you have a lot longer run, like say you're going 8 feet or something, you might have to go with thicker cables, but I'm awfully close. This is only about 1.5 feet. So what I did is I made the cables exactly the same size on the positive and same size on the negative. So the batteries are parallel, but all the cables are exactly the same size to help keep them in balance when they're charging and discharging, because they'll have the same amount of voltage drop across the cables. So kind of help keep, if I had one battery with a short cable, another battery with really long cables, they would get out of balance and one would have a different charge than the other. I'm reusing my shunt here. I have a trimetric battery monitor that I kind of like. It's easy to glance at, even though the batteries do have a Bluetooth, so I can actually look on my phone to see their state of charge. But this is just handy and I already have it. So that's a shunt that the negative goes through. And then over to the negative bus bar, there's a negative coming and attaching to my frame, because a lot of things in the RV return, their negative gets returned through the frame. So a nice heavy lead down to the frame. So I was able to use that for my negative on my solar controller. Then over here I have a DC to DC charger, and it's also a solar controller. It's 50 amp, and I use that when I'm wanting to charge the batteries with the truck alternator. I have it set up coming up here. You can see there's a red and black wire that come in, and it's actually coming up and through over in the pin box here. And then I have a plug that I can plug into the back of the truck. So power from the alternator comes through there and through this DC to DC charger, so I can pump 50 amps into the batteries. There's a line that goes up and around and through a 60 amp fuse here and then into the battery system. But this is also a solar charger, so when I'm not having the truck hooked up, I have another thing that I have hooked into the solar end of it, and it's the same by my hitch here. I have a plug, and I can plug in a ground panel. I carry a 400 watt foldable panel that I can plug into that. So I could have my roof array going through there, and then the ground panel going through there, just to give me even more power up around, you know, about pretty close to 1400 watts of total solar. And then this also has a lead coming off of it that runs over, and I have a port for running my 12 volt port that I use to run my 12 volt air compressor, and also I have an extra switch for my awning, so I'm just reusing that breaker as that. And as far as the OEM 12 volt system, it goes up and through this 80 amp breaker, just makes it easy to turn it on and off there. And then that 80 amp protects the wire that goes across and down. And down here is the OEM breakers. I think they have a pair of 30 amp for a 60 amp breaker down there. So that's where that protection is. All this stuff is part of my remote control system for my landing jacks and my awning and my slide. And then as far as fusing goes for the batteries, right now I just have a pair of 300 amps, but I have on order from Amazon a pair of 150 amps. I'm going to put on there, so it'll be a combined fuse of 300 amps, which is the max for the inverter. So that's going to be fused with 300 amps there. That protects all these wiring over here. I don't have a battery on-off switch, because one cool thing about these batteries is they have built-in on-off switches. So when you switch that off, it turns the batteries off. So I kind of like that because it's a little less complexity. I don't need a big battery switch. And of course, when you put a switch in the system, you're introducing connections and voltage drop. Anyway, just wanted to update you on how it's going so far. Just at a friend's place, visiting in their driveway, but we're going to be heading out and doing some boondocking very soon, so stay tuned. I'll keep putting out videos on this new system. Probably going to do like a schematic diagram and a block diagram so you can see what I've done. A lot of people have asked me to, you know, kind of show them exactly a very simple system to install. I think even though this has huge power capacity, it kind of shows you in a simple way how to install a solar power system in your RV. Oh, almost forgot, there's one extra thing here hanging out, and that's just a plug. If I want to plug the ground panel into here for some reason, and just use that controller as well. Just an extra option. Oh, and I almost forgot about the AC part of it. So this inverter comes out of here. My previous inverter, I had run a 30 amp RV cable right through the RV and into a transfer switch that lives in my power center of my RV. So when we're off grid, this will power my RV's AC systems. And then when we're on grid, when I plug the normal OEM cable in, it'll switch over to that. So I'm not really using the transfer switch in here right now to switch my RV AC power. What I'm going to do is, you can see there's a cable coming out of here, and it goes over here, and it goes to this 20 amp receptacle, and then that will plug into my generator. So when I fire up my generator, it'll go through here and through its transfer switch. And also I can utilize the charger in here. This particular model has a 150 amp max charger for the batteries, but it's also able to be adjusted. So I can adjust this inverter to tell it that I only have a 20 amp load coming in, and I can adjust exactly how much charge I can put in the batteries when I'm maxing out that inverter charger. Anyway, there you go. Hope you understood all that. Any questions or comments, leave them below. Till next time, Ray from Love Ya RV and Boat. Cheers, guys.